Hey guys, welcome back to the Wholehearted Journey. My name is Meredith Hudson, and y'all, this podcast is gonna hit. I feel like so many of y'all are gonna be jumping on here like little fleas on an unprotected pet. You know what I'm saying? Like just jumping. Because loose skin is probably one of the most like heavily talked about pieces of content. Like I genuinely know people who had like barely any followers that blasted up to 1 million to even over 1 million followers just simply from talking about their loose skin and posting about their surgeries and all of that, which is crazy. So I'm kind of salty at myself for not documenting my loose skin journey like a little bit more. I mean, I did, but not to the extent that some of these besties did. But it's a lot. I think, I mean, I give mad creds to anyone that does that because one, sharing about your loose skin whenever you're not in a midst of like getting loose skin removal, like you're just sharing openly that you have loose skin and there's no plans put into place. Like that is really hard. And you know what makes it hard? One, it's because you're putting your body out there. And when you're like, this is probably one of the most vulnerable things that you could ever do is share a piece of yourself on the internet in that way, right? That people like to talk about all the time as a bad thing, as a negative thing, right? It can make you feel very insecure in your body. But when I had openly talked about my loose skin, people and be like super bold and vulnerable, I had so many people be like, this is my greatest fear. And I'm like, my loose skin was extremely minimal. It was like barely anything compared to people who've lost 120 pounds. And I still got a lot of comments and messages like that. And it's like, your greatest fear is to look like me? What? That's messed up. And I know people don't mean it in that way. Like, of course, no one would intentionally mean it in that way. And if they do, then that's just savage and rude and mean. And I don't like the energy. But I think people are just not thinking when making comments about someone's body and like loose skin in that way. And they're not like understanding that their words like really greatly impact people. Let's just go back. Okay, let's just go back. When I lost 120 pounds, I had 2 pounds of loose skin overall after losing 120 pounds, which again, very minimal. We're going to be talking about in this podcast actually how I was able to navigate having minimal loose skin after losing that much weight. But I never actually planned on getting my loose skin removed. I wanted to be someone that really embraced my natural body and to just own it, love it, to be proud in it. And I did for a while. I did for a little bit over 2 years, but it was ultimately, and I hate to even admit this, but when I would post about my loose skin or I talk about my loose skin or people would ask me about my loose skin and I started getting, again, comments like, oh, I hope that's not me or that's my greatest fear or, just making comments like that started actually getting in my head. Okay, picture this. Imagine losing 120 pounds, going from 256 pounds all the way down to 136 pounds. I was almost 60% body fat. I went all the way down to 14%. Spent 2 years fighting harder than I ever have in my entire life for anything. Okay, point blank, period. Finally getting to the goal and feeling so proud. Really, one, proud, but also trying to get used to this new body that you do not recognize and never have been in and nor been a size that you are. Struggle with body dysmorphia on top of that because I went from a size like 20, 22, whatever it was, pant size all the way down to a size 2. Yeah, that's a big difference, honey. That's a big difference, okay? I also had G-size boobies, and they went down to a size negative. I'm just kidding. They did go to like a small, A cup. real story. Okay. I was in a completely another body, and that is such a weird thing. And it takes a lot to mentally get adjusted to and adapted to. I can promise you that. But imagine getting there, going through all those changes, working super, super hard, and people really only, I mean, obviously people talked about how, oh, that's amazing, you look so good, and this and that, but always having that followed question of, did you get loose skin? Or what does your loose skin look like? What does that look like? And constantly having this like, congratulations, but I now want to pull something out of you that's like almost finding something negative about like your body. That was my reality. And I will be honest. And no, it's something that like I can't complain about. I can't sit here and be like, poor me, like I'm a victim of anything. I signed up to post my journey on social media, and that comes with the good, the bad, the thick, and the ugly. Okay, it's sharing all of it if you want to be 100% real and authentic about it, and you know what you're signing up for when you do it. So that was just kind of the case, the situation I was in, and I saw myself go through ups and downs of like really, really loving my body and embracing my loose skin and feeling powerful in it, to absolutely wanting to crawl out of my body and hide. I had days where I would look in the mirror and see all the hard work, and then other days I'd look in the mirror and, you know, wish that I was big again, you know? And so it's such a weird situation. And so it's a lot. It's a lot to go through. And so after 2 years, I woke up one day and I was like, you know what? Screw it. Oh, sorry, my phone is dinging. It's on Do Not Disturb, so how dare she do that? Where was I? My goodness. Yeah. I just woke up one day and I was just like, yo, I'm so over this. Like, I'm just going to do it. So I went online and I just started looking up surgeons. I didn't even know what to look up, to be honest. Found someone, ended up getting a consultation pretty quickly. Went ahead and said, let's do it. And I got my loose skin removed like 3 months later. I think that's a timeline. Don't quote me on that. But yeah, it was pretty crazy. It was pretty like, wow, that's a big decision. And I kind of just welcomed it and said, you know what? Sure. But it was hard, and I cried a lot. I cried a lot in that waiting period simply because I was not proud at the fact of me getting the loose skin removed. Not that I have anything against it. Like, it has nothing actually to do with the surgery itself, but it has much more of the mindset around me doing it simply out of, I don't know, what's the best way to describe this? Simply out of, I guess, trying to have a body that people want me to have. You know? Is that the right way to describe it? Like a body that doesn't look like it's lost weight, or, you know, a body that everyone just, I don't know, wants when they're looking at their fitness coach. And I don't think that and that's just kind of where I was at. I'm not saying that is true by any means. And actually what I discovered is that I don't think it was true in any sense. Maybe for some people. I have had some people say like the only reason why I'm their coach, or the only reason they follow me, is because of my body. And but I've also had majority of my people that follow me mainly because of my knowledge, or the things that I've had to overcome throughout my weight loss journey, or that I'm relatable to them, or that they see themselves in me, and I'm relatable, and I'm someone that proves that it's possible. And so I'd rather be followed for that rather than anything else, because my body's probably going to disappoint you a lot of times throughout the years if I plan on doing content for a very long time, because it's going to change a lot. It's literally actively different right now, and it'll probably look very different 6 months from now. It's just, especially if I'm pregnant, hey, that's to be soon, right? But just in general, like, I'd rather be followed for my knowledge, my expertise, my experience. And but honestly, if you see yourself in me, like, that's kind of my biggest reason why I share content, is because I want people who are just like me to know that it is possible and that you can do this and it is achievable, right? And so anyways, so I want to talk a lot about loose skin, and there's obviously, this is a very heavy topic. There's a lot of different angles, but I think the most important angle that we should start off on in this episode, and we'll just see how far we can go, and if I can fit a lot more other topics in here that's about loose skin into this episode, I will. But I always try to cut this off around 30 minutes. But let's start off with how to avoid loose skin as much as possible when you are losing a large amount of weight. I'm going to put this simple. You have to care about muscle mass. You do. And I understand that, like, when you're starting your journey or you don't really understand the importance of muscle mass, you can literally roll your eyes and be like, okay, shut up. Because you've been hearing muscle mass a lot all over the place. You hear people talk about muscle mass when they're talking about GLP-1s. You hear people talk about muscle mass for, like, I mean, it's such a trendy word now. And it's a good trendy word. Muscle mass is like, your muscle mass plays one of the biggest roles in your health in general. But why I'm over here talking like this is because, like, when you are not a health coach, or you're not in the health field, or you're new to the game, like, muscle mass is something that you literally do not care about, because all you care about is just losing body fat and losing weight and getting small or whatever. Like, that's where I was. I'm not saying everyone was like that, but when I first started my journey, Mare had that mindset too. And when I would hear things, I'd be like, yeah. Until I got into my weight loss journey and I fell in love with weight training, because remember, I didn't weight train at all before my weight loss journey. So I wasn't going into my weight loss journey being like, I want to get swole, I want to get jacked, I want to have muscle mass. No, I was saying, I don't want to be a linebacker. I do not want to be a linebacker. I want to be a petite little girl, because I was told that I looked big bone my entire life. And I ain't trying to be a big bone linebacker. You know what? Slay. You know, if you do, but I just did not want that personally. And I think a lot of people can relate to that and be like, yeah, Mary, I'm right there with you. I've been called big back my whole life. Not big back. I'm so sorry. I said big back because this is going to sound so bad. Me and my husband do that with each other. Big back. Because we're a bunch of children and we literally don't know how to just, like, not be children. But every time we go for popsicle number 2, we always say, like, big back. Just playing with each other. We know that we both have, like, good lats. And so, yes, we do indeed have big backs. But in a big back, good. Everyone has good big backs, okay? Please do not be offended by me saying the word big back in this episode. I am so sorry. I'm here. I am for big backs. Okay. And there's no shame what the definition behind big back would mean for you. Okay. Period. And there's just I'm moving on. Okay. So anyways, where was I even at? That just threw me off. What was I trying to say? Big bone. I was called big bone my whole life. And so anyways, I didn't understand the importance of muscle mass. But when it comes to this situation, y'all, muscle mass plays the biggest role in loose skin. The more muscle you lose, the more loose skin you will have. That's just point blank, period. That's why do you think people who lose weight very quickly and very rapidly have more loose skin? It's because they lost a lot of muscle mass. People don't just lose rapid fat loss a lot quicker than other people who are losing fat. I mean, it depends, but, like, let's just hypothetically say you have 2 people, person A and person B, who have to lose 50 pounds. One person undereats and loses 50 pounds really quickly, while the other person eats in the correct calorie deficit, eating the right macros, is not undereating and not losing any muscle. So she loses her weight slower. She doesn't lose 50 pounds as fast as person A does. But the only reason why person A lost 50 pounds quicker is because it is not all body fat. It is a lot of muscle mass. And so that's one reason out of a million reasons why you should never compare your weight loss to somebody else. Like, I don't know how to convince someone and try to tell them over and over again that you should never be upset or, I guess, what's the word I'm looking for? Comparing yourself and feeling bad about your progress when someone lost a crap ton of weight super quickly. Because, like, I know from the just being a coach and understanding body compositions and everything, is that it's not a good thing. Like, I much rather be the person that's losing weight, quote unquote, slower, versus being someone that's losing weight so rapidly, because it's not all body fat. It's a lot of muscle mass on top of that. And so you can look at person A who's lost 50 pounds in 6 months versus person B who's lost 30 pounds in 6 months. And I can promise you, person A and B more than likely lost the exact same weight or like body fat, but their weight loss is going to look very different on the scale. And it's because person B did not lose any body or muscle mass. And so their bodies are going to look drastically different. You will notice that people who have lost a weight very quickly, they tend to have, and this is not to be in a mean way, it's the only way I can say it, but they tend to have a certain look. And you can tell that they've had massive weight loss, and it's just because that usually is for multiple things. One, you've lost a lot of muscle mass, so you're going to naturally have more loose skin. Things are just going to sag more. You're not going to have as much like definition. That's just the case. That's just facts. I'm just being honest. But it's also going to come from being malnourished as well. So you're going to be probably deficient in a lot of important vitamins and minerals and so forth. And so your goal should never be, I want to lose weight regardless if I'm losing a lot of muscle mass, just because I'm ready to get this weight off, because I can promise you this: when you get to your goal, you will literally regret that so much. There are a lot of people that I have had come into my program over the years who literally talk about that all the time. Like, I lost so much weight so quickly and I regret it. And so now they try to reverse it. A lot of times they experience weight gain pretty quickly after, or let's just say they're still at their weight loss goal. When they come into my program, they're trying to almost reverse their body composition to where they're building a lot of muscle mass and bringing their body fat percentage down. And so this, just to keep things simple, your body composition is based off of your body fat and your muscle mass. The more muscle mass you lose, the higher your body fat percentage will be. Even if you're losing body fat, your body fat percentage will still go up. And that's because your muscle mass plays a massive role in your body composition. AKA body composition is just like the way that your body is like built and designed, and like look like the way it looks. Let's just keep it very, very simple. It's just the way it looks. So the lower your body fat percentage is, and when you're sitting at a pretty good muscle mass, the more defined, toned, shaped, strong your body will appear. And the less loose skin you will usually have. But the more that your body fat percentage is higher because of you lacking muscle mass, the more your skin or your body will have this more of this like natural softness and sag. Again, all bodies are beautiful. All of them are beautiful, but I'm just helping you understand body composition. And so when it comes to loose skin, one of the most important things to do to try to avoid loose skin. I'm not saying that this is a guaranteed promise, because like I said, I didn't lose any muscle mass. I actually gained 7 pounds of muscle mass when I was losing 120 pounds. And I still had loose skin, but this limited it as much as it possibly could. I was overweight and struggled with obesity for almost two decades, bro. So if I would have lost a lot of muscle mass and I would have lost my weight very rapidly, I promise you, I would have had loose skin everywhere. I would have had it on my legs, I would have had it on my arms, I would have had it on my back, I would have probably had it maybe on my neck, I would have had it on my chest and had it on my stomach. And so the areas that I did have loose skin was on my lower stomach, my breasts. My breasts were the worst place for loose skin. Like my boobs were rough. Why do you think that is? Because you can't build muscle on your boobies. You can build muscle on your pecs, like underneath your breast, but your breasts themselves, you're not able to form, muscle where your boob is. And so what I actually did is I went ham on my chest because I was trying to avoid loose skin. It was so funny because I ended up building up my pecs, but obviously like my boobs were not able to build like actual muscle in them. So what happened was I had like a big muscle right here where my pec was, and I had like my boob was like nothing but loose skin. It was just hanging. It looked horrific, which is why I got a boob job done. Like, trust me, I did not want boobs. Like, I did not want to get my boobs done. I promise you that. I did not want to get them done. And people used to say to me all the time, well, Meredith, you should really think about like breast illness and so forth. And like, trust me, I understand. I did the research. It scared the heck out of me. And I did not want to do it. But if you had saw my boobs, you would have understood. It looked like I breastfed probably like 800 kids. It looked like everyone in the neighborhood was living off them boobies like that breast milk. Okay. And so I'm not trying to be funny. That's like real life. I still to this day have not coached one person that's experienced like losing their boobs the way that I did. I don't know what happened, but like I guess my boobs were nothing but a part of my weight gain, which makes sense. I mean, when I started getting boobs, it was when I was in 3rd grade, and that's when I also started gaining weight and when I struggled with my weight. So maybe my breasts this entire time came from just my being obese, and maybe I never would have had huge boobs if I never was like actually overweight in my life. So that was really, really interesting. Anywho, let me get me some water. I'm thirsty, baby. Yeah. Dang, that water is good. So yeah, that's tip number 1 is muscle mass. Do not lose muscle mass. The best thing that you can do is weight train on your weight loss journey. Try to avoid high intensity as much as you possibly can, but that's not to scare you. If you're a runner, obviously run. If you like doing some high intensity training, do it, but don't make that solely your main form of exercising, because that will not help you when you're in a calorie deficit. Okay, if you're in a calorie deficit and you're doing nothing but high intensity, you will lose muscle mass. That's just the case. Never undereat. Literally never undereat. Undereating will be a root of disaster. If you have 1 month that you undereat and you're just like all over the place with your calories and you're not eating enough, that is going to, you would be shocked how quickly you lose muscle mass. I promise you that. It's important that you know the nutrition that you're following and the workouts that you're following are setting you up for success, because it is difficult to hold on to muscle mass when you are losing weight, which is why people have normalized it and said it's impossible to gain or maintain muscle mass as you lose weight. And that is the biggest loop of BS ever. And I hate when people say that. People, doctors or whatever, just like try to act like everything's impossible because they just think that we're not capable of doing hard things. Yeah, right. So anyways, that's actually what I do for all my clients. I'm technically a body recomposition coach, which means all of my clients focus on maintaining or building muscle mass as they lose body fat. This is not just important for their body composition and for their body's overall transformation and to avoid loose skin as much as they possibly can, but also it helps them with their metabolism and how they're able to sustain their weight loss over time. So muscle mass, like I said, has a million roles as to why it's important. Okay, now moving on. The second thing is definitely going to be hydrating your body. Bestie, you best to hydrate your body. Skin is skin. I mean, it's just like your face. Like if we never hydrated or put moisturizer on our face over the time, over the course of time, like we'll probably be dry and cracky, and we probably wouldn't age as gracefully. Like we want to keep moisture within our body. So it's the same thing. Like just lotion up your body, take care of it. I technically use this stuff called bio oil. Bio oil was the go. It helped me with my stretch marks. It was something I lathered my body in, and I mean, I used it. I believe in it. It helped me so much. Now, I have had someone say that the bio oil ingredients are not the best. So I will say, if you are someone that really, really prioritizes like the cleanest products of all time, be very aware that is not probably the Yuka approved thing. Now I have not taken a big deep dive into it. I will say maybe I should, but I love it so much that I don't want to look at it. Maybe that's stupid, but I feel like everything is so bad. This candle literally that's lit beside me is probably like hurting me. You know what I'm saying? Like anything with scent or I don't know. The ingredients, especially in the US, it's just made out to kill us. You know what I'm saying? Basically. So there's only so much you can do. So I really did love the bio oil. Moisturizing your skin every morning and night is incredible. I think that if I was starting my weight loss journey from day one again, what I would do is I would just do regular moisturizer in the morning, all over my legs, stomach, chest, back, arms, everything. Literally everywhere. Put moisturizer everywhere. Just lotion me up. And then at night, I would probably sleep in the bio oil. I would probably put some bio oil on just because it gets greasy. So it is harder to do in the mornings. Now, if you're not going anywhere and you're able to chill or whatever, and you're not worried about getting oil on certain clothing or whatever, then do the bio oil in the morning and at night. But yeah. That's highly recommend that. Doing circular motions, massaging your skin helps with blood flow. And I have heard that does help with, and don't quote me on this, I'm not a skin expert, okay? But I think that that's healthy just overall for your skin, but also for collagen. I think. I don't know. But yeah, so that's something I would recommend. Now, one thing that makes up a massive role for loose skin is going to be genetics for sure. Now, don't let that discourage you. I know that the videos and everything scares, like, it's just scary to see. That's why I'm so thankful that when I was on my weight loss journey and I was doing my thing, like loose skin videos really weren't something that was out and about, because I don't know how I personally would have felt about that too, and probably would have created this big fear in me as well. But there's so much to losing weight that changes your life that, yes, it is one thing that can be hard to navigate and can be quote unquote a con, but there's so many pros that they majorly outweigh the bad. Like, you'll have some hard days, like that's just real life dealing with loose skin, but you'll have so many great, amazing days that will drastically outweigh it. There's one girl that I follow that had a lot of loose skin, and she had to wear fajas and compressions and so forth. But when you watch her videos, you might sit there and be like, man, I don't know, that's so scary. I don't want to have that much loose skin. But look at her. Look at the light in her eyes, her beautiful smile, the way that her skin is glowing. Like, this girl is happy. This girl is just, she is living her best life because she's lost so much weight and her life has drastically changed. So yes, it can be hard, and yes, it can seem scary, and we can be fearful of it. But like, I promise you right now, there's way more people out there that have loose skin than you realize. Yeah, you can take things like collagen. I don't really know how much collagen really has, and I think it's a great thing to maybe just take. My mother-in-law swore by collagen. She was someone that had 4 kids. She also had a set of twins, aka my husband and his brother, and she swore by collagen. Versus me, I was very hot and cold with taking collagen. It wasn't something I ever really religiously stuck with, and I don't think it played any difference in my results. I've had clients who have never taken collagen and clients who did take collagen after losing 100 pounds, and I didn't really see a drastic difference, or there's nothing I can be here, sit here and be like, well, because everyone's body's different. And I think that's what we have to understand. Everyone's body's different. What you're implementing and what you're doing plays a big role. I think that your age, of course, is going to come into play when it comes to your genetics and where you're at. Yeah, and I think everyone's starting point plays a massive role. There's just so much to this that it's hard to sit there and be like, yeah, I think collagen's like the secret sauce. But if you want to take it just to take it, and you just want to financially commit to that supplement every month, that's fine. Do it. Wanted to kind of talk about when I knew that I had loose skin. I think that's a very common question I get as a coach. Like, how do you know that you're going to have loose skin, or when did you start noticing? I would say that when I was at my halfway mark, so I was down 60, 70 pounds, I started noticing my skin looked saggier. And that's when I was like, oh no, I don't really like this. Like I went through this like really awkward phase where I just did not look good. I looked slightly like deflated. You know, I couldn't see any muscle definition yet. Like I just felt like, I don't know, I just looked depleted. Like I was still the girl that was, 260 pounds, but just like weighs different and like looked a little bit like, I don't know. That's how I looked. I kept going. I kept trusting the process. I was lifting heavy. It motivated the heck out of me to lift super heavy. I also started taking like creatine to help me with building up my strength, and boom, 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 boom. So by the time I got to my leanest, it was like drastically different, because when I was at my halfway mark, it looked like I was going to have a lot of loose skin on my arms and a little bit of loose skin on my legs, and of course my stomach and my breast. But when I got down to my actual like leanness of 136 pounds, it was so minimal. My boobs, like I said, were the worst. They were gone. They were done. And then I had a little bit of loose skin on the very front of my lower stomach. So yeah, that's that. And it was, so I think just like if you're going through your weight loss journey and you're like, oh, I feel like I'm starting to notice it and see it, you need to just push harder. Like lift heavier again, like really prioritize it. I started tracking my weights, making sure that I was hitting new records. I was very consistent in my workouts. I prioritized the heck out of recovery. I got body scans done. You need to get body scans done. If you're like very, very fearful of this and you're like, I 100% want to make sure I'm not losing muscle mass, I could not recommend it enough. I know some people do have to pay. I personally think if you do have to pay and you just like can't do it monthly, that's okay. At least try to do yourself justice by doing quarterly maybe. I don't know. I personally would invest no matter what the price is for body scans, because it really helped me that much on my own journey, just making sure that I was not losing muscle mass and so forth. And so I really prefer all my clients to do it, but at least I know my clients 100% are not losing muscle mass. Like the only time I see someone losing muscle mass is if they are not following the calories and macros that I have them on, or they got really, really sick, or they had a surgery of some sort, or they're just a little bit out of their groove. They're out of their rhythm, right? So, but when they're following my plans and they're locked in and they're doing their check-ins and they're staying in communication, I know 100% what's happening over there. They ain't losing muscle. Trust me. Even when someone doesn't get a scan, I know when we need to increase their calories, because their body will literally show signs that they need more calories in order to still continue to maintain muscle mass. I also just know to pay attention to their strength. Like if someone is saying that they're noticing a little bit of changes in their strength and they're not getting stronger, and they're extremely, extremely consistent and they're hitting those calories and macros I have them on, then again, I know that we're at risk of potentially losing muscle mass. So we increase our calories. So there's a lot of things that I do from a standpoint of a coach that not all my clients get body scans. It's actually, I have way more clients. I think I probably have about 25% of people on my program that do body scans, and then the rest don't do body scans because they don't have anyone near them. But I personally don't really need them. I just prefer them for my clients because my clients can see the magic that's happening, and I feel like that's a good educational piece. I feel like that's something that we all need to personally see and witness to continue to trust the process, because I honestly just have them fully trust me. And that can be hard. That can be hard to always listen to me. Like, I know my clients trust me. Obviously, it's why they signed up for my program. But it's really, really difficult when you have maybe a mix of opinions, like especially there's always a man out there that likes to give some opinions, okay? I'm just going to put that out there. It just is. Like, a lot of guys will somehow, I don't know if it's like at a nutritional store, could be a brother or an uncle or a boyfriend, whatever, that's like, you need to eat less. You need to eat less, Samantha. No, you don't, Samantha. No, you don't. Don't listen to him. He literally does not know what he's talking about. So anyways, sorry, that's you can tell I've had that a lot of experience, but like, it is hard no matter what to always trust someone through all the emotions. You're happy, you're excited, you're motivated, you're unmotivated, you're frustrated, you're discouraged, disappointed. Your body's changing, your body's not changing. Like, it is a lot to trust someone through all of those seasons. I give mad creds to my girls because it is very rare for me to have a conversation with someone of saying, I need you to trust me, because they just, I don't know what it is, but I love it. I'm so thankful for it, but they really do stay the course with me and they continue to trust me. And maybe it is that they just don't mention it, but I will dig it out of someone very quickly. Like, please, I need you to be honest with me and so forth. So anyways, but most of the time they stay the course. And when they do, and they go through all of the things with me, and they are staying locked in, again, on those dang check-ins, they're staying locked in on that communication, no matter if you're off track or on track, they hit their goals. So that's why it's so important to have a coach. There's a million ways to lose weight. There's a million ways to lose weight, but it comes down to, like, I think just from my personal experience as being someone that was overweight my whole life, like, I wanted to get to my goal and do the best that I can to almost look like I never was 260 pounds. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wanted to look like I didn't spend one day overweight. And that was personally my goal as much as I could in my capabilities. That is not the case no matter what. You can do the exact same thing I did and have more loose skin than me. That is not a guarantee that you're not going to get any loose skin, but like, it can at least set you up in a better position doing it versus not doing it by like a huge, like, by like a lot. So that's that. And anyways, it's hard because it's tempting to lose weight very quickly. It's tempting to not eat when you're not hungry. It's tempting to do things maybe that someone else that you know is doing, or what everyone else is doing. It's tempting. But I can promise you, I'm not, the big reason why I love being a content creator or doing these podcasts is that even if I'm not coaching you, you can at least hear this and just know that, like, trust me when I say, because I think anyone that signs up for my program and is a client of mine understands, like, the page that I'm on. Like, it's not very common that I ever had to tell someone, hey, you shouldn't undereat. Like, I'll have those discussions if they have it, but they know, like, Coach Mayer does not want people undereating, and Coach Mayer is all about this. So, like, but it's very common for me to see people in my DMs who are just, like, shooting for the wrong things, and they don't really understand what can happen in the long run from doing this. They don't really know what they're fighting for outside of, I just want to lose X amount of things on my scale. So anywho, I just hope, what I'm trying to say here is, I really hope that this reaches the right people. I hope that this is a great reminder for people on their journey, but I also really hope for anyone that's, like, really just struggling in general with knowing, like, how to, like, take the best route to avoid losing as much as possible. I hope this finds you well. I hope this was extremely eye-opening. If anyone is falling into the place of not caring about muscle mass and just doing the extreme of the extremes to lose weight very quickly, I hope this turns things around for you. Because it's not just for aesthetic purposes. It is for your metabolism and a lot of other things. It also helps with, okay, I shouldn't go on this whole rant, but anyways, I'm not going to, because then that's going to be a whole episode. So anyways, I love you guys. Thank y'all for tuning in for another one. I'm about to blow out this candle. It's already giving me a headache. It's so strong. I'm over here dying. Ugh. But I love y'all so much. And I also, by the way, want to apologize for, like, my podcast episode last week. It was different. It was kind of weird. And there was a reason for that. One, it was 19 minutes long, which is like, what? But when I was editing it, it was too much. It was too much, meaning as in, like, I said too much. I was too vulnerable in it. And so I ended up cutting over half of it out. It was like a 50-minute video, bro. And I edited it out to where it was 19 minutes. I never do that. I don't know why, but I was just, like, in a place where I was like, this is too much. And I don't know if it's because I was like, no one asked for this whole therapy session, but after talking to a few of my girlies who listen to them, they're like, no, I was so sad you didn't play like all of it. I could tell that you took out a lot of parts, and I wanted to hear all of it. I'm like, okay, I know it's not very common for me not to share everything, but I was just in a place where I was just like, I was not feeling it. And then I regretted it after I posted it. I was like, shoot, I should have just kept the whole thing and just do what I normally do, is just like not edit my podcast at all. And literally, it's usually just like sitting down, playing in, and going from there. But anywho, I love you guys. I will see y'all next Tuesday. Tell me if y'all love this podcast episode. If you want more information about loose skin, I'd be happy to answer some questions for y'all in the comments. Make sure to follow, share this, like this, do whatever you can. That helps me with keeping this podcast going and giving some more free tips and advice to you guys. But I love you guys, and I'll see y'all soon. Bye.